Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Coet here, getting set to bring you the home opener for the 2015 Legion team. Well, it is a very special day at Pheno Field here this afternoon, not only due to the fact that the 2015 team will play their first game here on the field this season, but also an opportunity for the current players and coaches and the fans to honor that very special team from 2014, that 2014 club winning the Massachusetts Department Championship, moving on to the Northeast Regional Tournament where they came ever so close to a bid for the World Series down in North Carolina. All kinds of accomplishments from that 2014 team, and they will be honored with a special pregame ceremony down at field level. And it's important that we think of that 2014 team at a point like this on the current season, because this 2015 team with something in common with that 2014 team, both teams getting off to 0-3 starts on the season, so plenty of reason for the players and fans to remain confident on the season. Despite getting off to a rocky start, we know where the season went beyond those top 3 games on the year last season, so an opportunity for things to turn around quickly in the current edition of the team. The offense has continued to sputter out of the gate, just 1 run in each of their last 2 games, and they've only scored a total of 7 runs over their last 3 games. So the offense certainly hopes to get rolling on the field here at Pheno Field, and a lot of good memories from the last time the team played on their home field. Of course, that was in the state championship game, as luck would have it.
We will have the starting lineups and the game's first pitch when we come back next here on Milford TV.
We will move right on to starting lineups, and we will start with the visiting lineup for today. That is Leominster post 151. Leading it off is the right fielder Ethan Sprague. Noah Milliard bats second and plays left field. Ryan Lever, the shortstop, bats third, with Brennan Cudahy, the designated hitter, batting fourth. David Barry, the center fielder, bats fifth, with Tanner Jackala, the first baseman, batting sixth. Diosmar Reynoso catches and bats seventh, with Andrew Curran, the second baseman, batting eighth, and batting ninth. And playing third base is Cooper Bigelow. And for Milford, post 59, making their home debut, their lineup looks like this afternoon. Matt DeCina leads it off and plays shortstop. Aiden Wild up in the second spot today. He plays left field. Batting third is Andrew McMillan, playing third base, and Jeff Basazzi bats cleanup and plays first base today. Michael Ryan bats fifth and catches, with Blake Hill in as today's starting pitcher, batting sixth. Kyle Nocera bats seventh and plays center field, with Drew Wild in the 8th spot playing second base, and in the 9th spot is the right fielder Griffin Lynch. And so Blake Hill is the pitcher, completing the warm-up tosses on the mound. The lefty getting set to go to make this home opener start, and he will be opposed by Leominster's starting pitcher Mark Poirier. And those are our starting lineups, and it is a very warm day here in Milford this afternoon. It is right now 79 degrees at field level, but with bright sunshine and not much cloud cover overhead, it feels even warmer than that. And a good crowd forming on hand here at Pheno Field to see the first home game of the year for post 59, and they will not have to wait any longer as Ethan Sprague steps up to the batter's box. And Blake Hill ready to deliver pitch number 1. He is into his windup. The pitch on the way, and it is in, but missing just a bit outside for ball 1. Milford Legion baseball here at Pheno Field once again. Certainly makes it feel like summer has officially arrived. Here is the 1-0 pitch. It's hit in the air, foul off to the right, and that evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Blake Hill pitching to Michael Ryan. That is the battery for this afternoon's game. A 1 ball, 1 strike count on Ethan Sprague, the right fielder. Here's the next pitch, and this is hit down the right field line towards foul territory, and that kicks just foul, and the count goes to 1-2. Again, Milford unveiling brand new uniforms for this afternoon's game. All white uniforms with navy trim underneath the arms, and a navy and gold Milford across the chests, numbers on the front and back. As Blake Hill delivers his next pitch outside, and the count evens again at 2-2. The uniform number on the lower left side of the front of the uniform. The 2 ball, 2 strike pitch dips down and in. And Sprague has worked the count full. A very sharp look for this Milford team for their home games this season, now with 4 different uniform looks to provide over the course of the year. Here's the 3-2 pitch. It's just tapped foul. Just getting a piece of that one was Sprague. It went in and out of the glove of Michael Ryan, so Sprague stays alive with that 3-ball, 2-strike count. We saw Milford feature both their navy and gold uniforms on the road through their first 3 games. And they, of course, still have the camo jerseys, which they have yet to wear in-game action so far on the season. Here's another 3-2 pitch, and it's swung on and missed. Blake Hill wins the battle, getting the fastball past Sprague for out number 1 of this top of the first inning. And now here is Noah Milliard, the left fielder. Steps in on the left side, facing the left-handed throwing Blake Hill. And Hill's pitch misses inside for ball 1. Blake Hill used sparingly in a pitching role for post 59 last year. And when he was utilized on the mound, it was just about always out of the bullpen. But he did make a few starts for the Milford High School team over the course of this season. As a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Milliard, who now steps out. Now the next pitch, this is hit on the ground towards second base, fielded by Drew Wild. He throws to Basazzi at first, and it is 2 up and 2 down here in the top of the first. 4-3 on that ground out. And now it will be Ryan Lever, the shortstop, due up third for Leominster post 151. Blake Hill last season accumulating a 2-0 record on the mound for post 59 and a 3.44 ERA. He made 8 pitching appearances, and all of them were out of the bullpen as he deals strike 1 into Lever. Blake Hill with 12 innings pitched. He allowed 6 earned runs. He walked 9 and struck out 12, faced 58 total batters. But again, got some starting pitching experience for the high school team back during the spring. Ready to deliver a 1-ball, 1-strike count. It misses away, and it goes to 2-1 now. Blake Hill started 3 games for the Scarlet Hawks this season, pitched 18 2/3 innings, had a 4.50 ERA, as this pitch from Blake Hill is lined out to left field for a 2-out base hit from Lever. And this was a stat I mentioned on Friday's broadcast. Milford pitching has yet to accumulate a 1-2-3 inning through their first 3 games, and it will have to wait at least 1 more inning here today, as Lever spoils the bid with the 2-out single. He is at first base ahead of Brennan Cudahy, the designated hitter. And the first pitch misses down and in for ball 1. Leominster High School making a deep run through the 2015 MIAA playoffs in the Division I Central bracket, as Hill's next pitch misses to bring the count to 2-0, and it also brings Michael Ryan out from behind the plate to talk things over with Hill. He had gathered the first 2 outs easily in the inning, getting a strikeout and a ground out, but now a single, and he's fallen behind Cudahy 2-0. Just a quick visit from Ryan. Now he heads right back behind the plate. And the 2-0 pitch, this is hit in the air out to right field. A long run for Griffin Lynch into the gap, and he makes the catch. A good rangy play from Griffin Lynch. He records the out that ends this top of the first inning, so Leominster gets a 2-out base runner, but that is all. And we head to the home half of the first inning. Milford post 59 will take their first home swings of the season when we come back next here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. Tim Coet back here with coverage of Milford Legion baseball on First Class Radio. Leominster unable to score in the top half of the first inning, and now Milford will come to the plate here at Pheno Field for the very first time in 2015. Matt DeCina, Aiden Wild, and Andrew McMillan will be the top three batters in the lineup. Coming to the plate against Mark Poirier, the starting pitcher for Leominster. And before we get into this bottom half of the first inning, we do want to bring you a scoring update from Fenway Park. They are 1 out deep in the top of the 8th inning now, and it is still a big mountain for the Red Sox to overcome as they trail the Blue Jays 13-5 into the late innings. So we will continue to bring you updates on that game until its completion. Again, 13-5, the Jays lead the Sox in the 8th inning. Matt DeCina about to step in on the left side against the right-handed throwing Poirier. Mark Poirier does have experience pitching against post 59, as he is a returning member of this 151 club. Poirier stares over the glove for the sign, now into his windup. Here's the first pitch of this bottom of the first inning, and it sails down and in for ball 1. Matt DeCina, after collecting at least 1 hit in each of his first 2 games, was held hitless yesterday, or on Friday, I should say, against Grafton Hill, going 0 for 3 with a strikeout. He is ahead in the count now, 2 balls and no strikes. DeCina wearing the number 9, as he has done for the last 2 seasons. He steps back up to the plate now with a count of 2 balls and no strikes. Poirier taking his time on the mound. Now goes back into the windup. Here's the pitch. DeCina showing bunt, pulls the bat back, but takes a strike. And it is a 2-ball, 1-strike count. We do have a schedule update for the post 59 season that we do want to let you know about. And it involves tomorrow's scheduled game. Milford scheduled to take on Eastside over at Tivnan Field tomorrow evening. That game will not take place as scheduled due to St. Peter Marian High School remaining in the high school state playoffs. So that game has been postponed tomorrow evening. No Milford Legion baseball tomorrow. That game has yet to be rescheduled. As soon as we have a new scheduled date for that game, we will certainly bring it to you. It is now a 3-ball, 2-strike count on DeCina. Working a tough at bat here to lead off the bottom of the first inning. Here is the payoff pitch, and it's hit in the air down the left field line into foul ground, and that ball is out of play. It stays 3-2. And a lot of fans here at Pheno Field enjoying the bright sunshine and enjoying their first opportunity to see this team take to their home field here in 2015. Another 3-2 pitch, and that is upstairs for ball 4. So a lengthy at bat for DeCina, and he is rewarded with a leadoff walk. Milford could certainly use some early runs on the scoreboard, as offense has been hard to come by through these early games. Milford has been getting base runners, but it has been a big problem driving them in. They did not receive a single hit with runners in scoring position in the game against Northborough. Coming through with just 1 in the game on Friday against Grafton Hill, and that came in the 6th inning. An RBI single by Michael Ryan that cut the score to 4-1, and that was where the score would remain in that game. Milford losing their first 3 by final scores of 5-3 in the first game, 5-1 in the second game against Northborough, and 4-1 Friday against Grafton Hill. Decina a good lead off of first. And a late timeout granted at home plate. Poirier going through with the pitch. But no pitch. It stays just an 0-1 count. Aiden Wild in on the right side. Here now is the 0-1 pitch. It's up and away. It evens the count at 1-1. Defensively for Leominster, it's Diosmar Reynoso behind the plate, Cooper Bigelow at third, Ryan Lever at short, Andrew Curran at second, and Tanner Jackala at first. Left to right in the outfield, Noah Milliard, David Barry, and Ethan Sprague. 1 ball, 1 strike the count as Wild now lofts a pitch up over the backstop. A very light breeze blowing towards the outfield, but very light. Temperatures hovering around the 80s. As now Aiden Wild takes the 1-2 pitch over the outside edge for a called strike 3. Wild did not like the call. Poirier gets his first K. 1 down in the inning now for Andrew McMillan, who gets pushed down to the 3 spot for this afternoon's game after batting out of the number 2 hole for the first 2 games. And McMillan has shown the ability to hit for extra bases in the early days of the season. He went 1 for 3 yesterday with a double and scored a run. McMillan in the game against Northborough, getting a single, also reached base on a walk and a hit by pitch, and had a run scored in that game as well. And back in game number 1 against Sturbridge, was able to come through with a triple. So possibly part of the reasoning to move him down in the lineup. As Matt Decina takes off with the pitch, the ball is fouled away by McMillan. Off to the left, and Decina will return to first. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out in the inning. Matt Decina, who led off the frame with a walk, remains at first base as he inches out to a sizable lead. Poirier looks right in his direction. He holds this time as the pitch misses low. It looked like the umpire wanted to go up with the strike call, but kept the arm down, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. And Poirier now steps off. He mops some sweat from the forehead. It is, again, a very warm day here at the field. As now they send a pickoff throw over to first base. Diving back in was Decina. Jeff Basazzi waiting in the on-deck circle. Again, Decina holds as this pitch is in on the outside edge for a called strike 2. One ball and 2 strikes now the count. As again, they pay very close attention to the speed of Matt Decina at first base. And Poirier again will waste more time. It's been a very deliberate pace out of Mark Poirier through these first few batters. Ready now to deliver another pitch, as this one is chopped slowly towards the left side. A tough play for the third baseman, a double clutch, a low throw, and pulling Jackala, the first baseman, off the bag, and Andrew McMillan will be safe. A very slow roller onto the grass on the left side of the infield. The third baseman, Cooper Bigelow, charged in, made the barehanded play, but double clutched the throw, sent it in down in the dirt, and Jackala took the foot off the bag to field the throw. So an infield single for McMillan puts runners at first and second base with Only one down, and now here is Basazi. And time called at home plate. A little game of cat and mouse going on between the Milford batters and Mark Poirier. As now the first pitch comes in low, blocked by Diosmar Reynoso, the catcher. It holds the runners at bay. And it starts off Basazi ahead in the count. Basazi 0 for 1 in the game on Friday against Grafton Hill. Only served as a pinch hitter in the game, got the day off from the starting lineup. And Basazi takes a pitch high to jump ahead 2-0. Batting with DeCina at second base and McMillan at first. Good speed on the bases for Milford. Here's the 2-0 pitch down in the dirt. It goes through the legs of Reynoso to the backstop, and DeCina and McMillan will each advance. Basazi now ahead in the count 3-0, and a great opportunity presenting itself for Milford with 2 in scoring position and only 1 out. Basazi digs back in on the right side. Poirier's 3-0 pitch. And a called strike just barely grabbing the outer edge. Basazi narrowing down his strike zone. Well ahead in the count. Here's the 3-1. And it's lofted in the air, foul down the right field line and out of play. That one floating up and over the crowd, lining the edge of the field, down the right field line. And the count is now full to Jeff Basazi. Bluffing hard down the line is DeCina. Here's the 3-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball. Up high for ball 4, and the bases are loaded. The second walk in the inning for Mark Poirier, and that will draw head coach Jeff Dedian out of the dugout for Leominster. Pitching himself into a jam here. Nothing has left the infield for Milford so far, getting 2 of their base runners on walks, and the third on an infield single by McMillan. And here is Michael Ryan, the lefty bat, settling in a big spot, looking to put his team on top. The first pitch on the way, and it's in for strike 1. Michael Ryan driving in the only RBI for Milford in their loss to Grafton Hill. Here now is the 0-1 pitch. It's swung on and missed. A big swing from Ryan. Michael Ryan's been a little antsy at the plate through these early games. Trying to settle down now behind in the count, 0-2. Blake Hill on deck. A Milford runner at every base, looking to break the early scoreless tie. Here's the 0-2. And it's hit to the backstop. Ryan protecting the plate. And most of the Milford bench standing right at the edge of their dugout area, taking in this inning. Here's another 0-2 pitch. It's off the end of the bat, out to left field. That gets down for a base hit. DeCina comes in to score. They wave Andrew McMillan to the plate. He will score without a throw. It is a 2-run RBI single for Michael Ryan, and Milford strikes first here at home. They take a 2-0 lead. So Ryan falling behind in the count immediately. Fouled off a tough pitch and then got one he could handle. He just went with that pitch, flicking it to the opposite field out to left, and it brought 2 runs home. Runners now at first and second base for post 59 as the first pitch to Blake Hill is swung on and missed. It briefly got away from the catcher, but not far enough for the runners to advance. Jeff Basazzi is now the lead runner at second base with Ryan at first. And now time granted at home plate. Poirier's pitch. That just misses away, evening the count at 1-1. Blake Hill has hit safely in each of the first 3 games of the season. Today batting out of the number 6 spot. Here's the pitch. It's hit high in the air out to left field. Not finding it off the bat is Milford, struggling as he backpedals deep out in left field, and somehow he's able to make the catch. He had the arms fully extended as that ball was in the air, indicating he had no clue where it was. Finally picked it up at the last minute and made an awkward catch. So there are 2 outs now in the first inning. Basazzi remains at second base with Ryan at first. And now here is Kyle Nocera taking his first at bat here at Pheno Field with the Post 59 colors on. And he takes the first pitch in for a called strike 1. Kyle Nocera starting yesterday's game on the pitcher's mound. Was only able to get 3 2/3 innings deep into the outing. The walks were a key factor for Nocera, 5 walks in the game. He did strike out 4. He allowed 4 runs on 5 hits. A 1-ball, 1-strike count now. The next pitch on the way, and it's fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning, 2 runs home so far for Post 59, but looking for more as they have 2 runners aboard. Poirier back to the set position. Here is the pitch, and this is hit out towards right center field. On comes the right fielder Sprague. He can't make the catch. They will wave Basazzi to the plate. The throw comes in towards the center of the diamond as Basazzi scores on the RBI single by Nocera that ups Milford's lead to 3-0. The 3rd hit in the frame for Post 59. It results in their 3rd run coming across. As Basazzi scores from second base, Michael Ryan going from first to third. Runners at the corners with 2 down and a chance for Drew Wild. And Wild takes the first pitch high for ball 1. The back part of this lineup stacked with lefties for Coach DeVito. Batters 5 through 9 all hitting from the left side. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's hit high in the air out to left field towards the line, and that's going to drop in front of Milford. Scoring is Michael Ryan. Nocera takes third base. Drew Wild ends up at second. That was a lazy fly ball down the left field line, and again, Milford having all kinds of difficulty picking up the baseball. This time it hurts him. And Milford is able to grab a 4th run in the inning. A gift hit for Wild as he ends up at second base. Runners at second and third with 2 down. And Milford will bat around here in the first inning as Griffin Lynch comes to the plate. I did misspeak as Griffin Lynch comes to the plate from the right side. Griffin Lynch, a lefty pitcher, but a righty batter. Starts off with a 1-ball, 1-strike count from Mark Poirier, who has struggled in this inning. As now Griffin Lynch sends one to the opposite field. That's going to get down for a hit. Nocera comes in to score. They will wave the runner to the plate from second base, and the tag is made on Drew Wild. He did not opt to slide as he came into the plate. Tried to come in standing up, and Reynoso able to swipe the tag on the way by, and that is how the inning will come to an end. But 1 run does score on the RBI single from Griffin Lynch. All 9 Milford batters come to the plate in the bottom of the first inning. 5 come around to score. And with 1 inning deep into the books, it is a 5-0 lead for Milford. Coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio. Well, a much better start to the game here this afternoon than any of the previous games so far on the season. Milford scoring a total of 7 runs through their first 3 games, but they hung a 5 spot on the scoreboard in inning number 1 here today at Pheno Field. The home cooking certainly playing in Milford's favor here early on. Up 5-0 over Leominster Post 151. They score 5 runs on 5 hits in that bottom of the first inning. They also worked a pair of walks. And the inning coming to an end at a play at the plate. Milford nearly grabbing a 6th run. But Drew Wild tagged out at the plate to end the inning. But nonetheless, a big 5-run lead now for Blake Hill to work with as he is back out on the pitcher's mound, set to face batters 5, 6, and 7 in the Leominster order. And the first batter of the inning, David Barry, the center fielder, fouls the pitch away for strike 1. It was a long day of baseball for Post 51 back on Friday evening, playing an 11-inning game on the road against North County, a game that they did walk away with a victory in. As this ball is hit out to short, a bobble there by DeCina, but he's able to recover and send a strong throw to first base for the out. Barry retired on the 6-3 ground out. And now it is Tanner Jackala, the first baseman, about to stand in. Batting with 1 out and the bases empty. The leadoff batter retired by Hill. Hill allowed a 2-out single in the top half of the first inning, but that was all. And now gets this pitch into Jackala that's hit hard on the ground to third base. McMillan fields and throws, and it just takes 1 pitch to retire Jackala for the 2nd out of the inning. And now Reynoso will come to the plate, the Leominster catcher, with 2 away as Blake Hill looks for the shutdown inning. Always important to get your bats right back to the plate when they're as hot as Milford demonstrated in the first inning. Here's the first pitch to Reynoso. Just misses outside, 1-0 the count. A good friendly rivalry between these two teams over the years, playing in a lot of big games against one another. As Reynoso lofts a pitch out to shallow center field, out goes the shortstop DeCina. He will step in front of Nocera to make the catch, and there is the first 1-2-3 inning for Milford pitching on this 2015 season. And we head right on to the bottom half of the 2nd inning with Milford up 5-0 over Leominster here on your home for Milford Legion Baseball, WMRC First Class Radio. Just the start the hometown fans were looking for here at Pheno Field as Milford enjoys a 5-0 lead over Leominster Post 151, and they will bring the top of the lineup to the plate once again as they batted around in the first inning. DeCina lofting a pitch in foul ground out to left field, this time sure-handed as Milliard as he makes the catch. And a quick first out to this bottom of the 2nd inning. Now here is Aiden Wild, who grounded out 4-3 in his first at bat. The first pitch misses for ball 1. Aiden Wild did have one of Milford's 5 hits against Grafton Hill back on Friday evening. He sends a pitch in the air foul behind first base, but that will move beyond the field of play. Meanwhile, last chance coming up for the Red Sox right now over at Fenway Park as they continue to trail the Blue Jays 13-5. There is 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning, so the Sox down to their final 2 outs. It is a count of 1 ball and 1 strike on Aiden Wild, batting out of the 2-hole in the Milford lineup. And the next pitch from Mark Poirier, hit on the ground past the dive of the third baseman Bigelow. It moves out into left field, And it's a 1-out single for Wild. So now 8 on of the 9 Milford batters have reached base safely in this game. The only exception, Blake Hill. As Milford collected 5 hits and 2 walks as they did their damage in the first inning. Just 1 out in the frame here with a runner at first base, and Andrew McMillan takes the first pitch up high for ball 1. An infield single for McMillan as part of that first inning rally, came around to score. Now a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Mark Poirier pitching against Milford in Game 2 of the Zone 4 semifinals last year, the game in which Milford eliminated Leominster as they moved on to the Zone 4 finals. Poirier giving up 2 home runs in that game to Kevin Martinez. He falls behind McMillan, 2 balls and a strike. That Game 2 played at Leominster's Pincanavino Field. A bit of a change to the Zone 4 playoff format this season. Round 1 will just be a single game playoff. The semifinals and finals will remain the best of 3. A 2-ball, 2-strike count now on McMillan. Here's the pitch, and it's hit high in the air out to center field. Over a few steps is David Barry. He settles underneath and makes the catch for out number 2. McMillan now 1 for 2 on the afternoon, and here is Jeff Basazzi. Basazzi walked to load the bases last inning, setting things up for Michael Ryan to come through with a 2-run single. And the first pitch into Basazzi is a called strike 1. Basazzi playing first base today. It's the first time we've seen him at first with the Legion team. We've seen him at catcher and also at DH so far this year. Last season we saw him exclusively in that catcher's role. He's in the hole now, no balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the inning. Here's the pitch, and going after a high pitch was Basazzi. Could not make contact. It's a strikeout for Poirier. That brings an end to the inning. So Milford cannot score here in the second. We're through 2, but it remains a 5-0 lead for Post 59 here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. Milford gathering 5 runs on 6 hits through the early innings of this one. They lead it 5-0. And Blake Hill back out on the mound will start things off against Andrew Curran, the second baseman. Curran, another returning player to this Leominster roster. A lot of familiar faces on this Post 159 team here in 2015. Milford and Leominster splitting their games in the regular season last year, each team collecting a win on their home field. As Curran lines a pitch out to shallow center field, that will drop down in front of Nocera for a leadoff base hit. And now the number 9 hitter in the Leominster order, Cooper Bigelow, will take his first at bat. Bigelow in on the right side. As Leominster has gotten their leadoff man aboard here in the inning against Blake Hill. First pitch swinging, Bigelow sends it out to center field. Perfectly aligned was Nocera to make the catch. And right back up to the top spot in the lineup now, Ethan Sprague up for the second time. Kyle Nocera playing the first 2 games out in center field and came in to pitch the game yesterday. Game on Friday against Grafton Hill. Kevin Lynch, who played the majority of the games out in center field for Milford last season, continues to be out of service as he and Brian Espinette continue on into the state final bracket for Division IV Central. As now Sprague sends this pitch out to shallow right field. Trouble as all the way out into mid-right field, I should say, is Drew Wild. He slides to make the catch, sends a quick throw back into first. They almost had the double play, but Andrew Curran was able to get back to first base in time. That looked like it was danger as Griffin Lynch was playing pretty deep out in right field, but Drew Wild able to cover all kinds of ground, getting very deep out there and right to slide and make the catch, and had the awareness to send a throw into first to try for the inning-ending double play. He is able to collect the second out. And now Noah Milliard comes to the plate and takes strike 1. Very good defensive play from Drew Wild. Brings out number 2 of the inning. As now this pitch is hit hard out to center field, but Nocera on the move is able to make the catch. And after the leadoff single from Andrew Curran, Hill is able to collect the 3 outs in succession from there. So we are done with the top of the 3rd inning. Leominster strands a runner on base. They've now stranded 2 so far in the game, and it remains a 5-0 lead for Milford Post 59. Stay tuned to coverage of Milford Legion baseball here on First Class Radio and streaming online at WMRCDailyNews.com. 5 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Post 59. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for Leominster Post 151. As we play on to the bottom half of the 3rd inning, Michael Ryan, Blake Hill, and Kyle Nocera due up against Mark Poirier. And things have gone final now from Fenway Park. And the troubles just keep on going for the Boston Red Sox as they are swept for the 2nd straight series, losing to the Blue Jays today by a final score of 13-5. So you can make it 6 straight losses for the Red Sox. Michael Ryan, who got Milford on the scoreboard with a 2-run single back in the 1st inning. Already up there with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Poirier's next delivery misses outside and low. Ryan awaits the next pitch and misses up and away. Poirier has already walked a pair of batters in his outing, and he's fallen behind Michael Ryan 3-1. Back into the windup. Here is the pitch, and that's in for a strike. Michael Ryan making a move towards first base, but steps right back into the box as the count now is full. Poirier winds and delivers, and the pitch is swung on and missed, so a near ball 4, and instead the at-bat turns into a strikeout for Ryan. Poirier has struck out the last 2 batters he's faced. He has struck out 3 batters overall in the outing. And now here is Blake Hill, pitcher against pitcher in this at-bat, and Blake takes a called strike 1. A fly out to left field in the first at-bat for Hill. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Stays a bit high. The Sfino Field crowd very pleased with the early results in this game as now Blake Hill lines a pitch out to right field. for a single. It was hit so hard, Ethan Sprague looking like he wanted to throw to first, but Jackala was not covering the bag. I don't think the throw would have gotten there in time anyway. It is a 1-out single for Blake Hill, and now every member of this post 59 lineup has reached base against Mark Poirier. Milford batting around in the first inning. They had just a single hit last inning, and now Nocera, first pitch swinging, sends one in the air to right field. Back at first with Sprague, then he moves in to make the catch. Nocera retired on one pitch. And now here is Drew Wild, who was given a gift double by Leominster back in the first inning, sending a pitch out to shallow left field in fair territory. It dropped a couple of feet in front of Noah Milliard, who could not pick it up in the air. And it resulted in an RBI coming across for Milford. Drew Wild was eventually thrown out at the plate to conclude the first inning. He jumps ahead in the count in this at-bat, 1 ball and no strikes. And now sends a hard line drive out to right field for a hit. The second single to right field in the inning. It pushes Blake Hill into scoring position at second base. And Drew Wild is now 2 for 2. And that brings up Griffin Lynch, who concluded the first inning rally with an RBI single. From the stretch, Poirier's pitch is in for a strike. Into the bottom of the third inning here from Fino Field, a 5-0 lead for post 59 over Leominster. Here's the pitch into Griffin Lynch. It's a called strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. Blake Hill out to a walking lead at second base. Drew Wild not held on. He's out to a big lead at first as the pitch to Lynch is high. Griffin now working with a count of 1-2. Poirier surveys the base runners, now comes to the plate. The ball gets away, and up a base goes each runner. Hill to third and Drew Wild to second. You could tell that Poirier had become a bit preoccupied with those base runners. He tried to rush the throw to the plate. It bounced in and away from Diosmar Reynoso, the catcher. And a chance now for Lynch with 2 in scoring position. A hesitation from Poirier, the 2-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball that stays up. And now a full count. Poirier a couple of deep breaths on the pitcher's mound. Back in a jam. Here is his 3-2 pitch. It's hit out to right center field, deep. That's going to get over the head of both the center and right fielders and roll deep out there into the gap. Both runs come in to score easily as Griffin Lynch sails into third base with a stand-up triple, a 2-run triple for Griffin Lynch. And it's up to a 7-0 lead for post 59. On the 3-2 pitch, Griffin Lynch crushed it out into the right center field gap. And no problem for both Hill and Wild to score. And now the first pitch into Matt DeCina, already taking his third at bat in as many innings, is low for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch, softly hit out to left field. In comes Milliard, still coming in. He can't make the catch. He had it in the glove, but dropped it. And DeCina will reach. And meanwhile, in from third base comes Griffin Lynch with the 8th Milford run. It is a tough sky for the outfielders to deal with. The sun really streaming in, particularly left field is the sun field. But it has been a regrettable day so far for Milford, and now Aiden Wild, first pitch swinging, hits it hard on the ground through the right side of the infield. So DeCina comes through, reaching base, and then Aiden Wild quickly follows suit with the single. DeCina reaching on the error by the left fielder. So no RBI on the play as now Andrew McMillan lines one over the glove of the shortstop. They will wave DeCina to the plate. He will come around to score, as sliding safely into second base with the double is Andrew McMillan. And these Milford bats officially taking out their frustrations on Mark Poirier this afternoon, already now with a 9-0 lead. And for the second time in 3 innings, Milford bats around as their 9th batter comes to the plate in the person of Basazzi. A pickoff play put on at second base, but not close as McMillan slides back in. So the RBI double, and now Basazzi sends one out into right field. That gets down for a hit. Into score comes Wild. Right behind him is McMillan. A 2-run single for Basazzi, and double digits in the run column for Milford. It is 11-0. And all smiles coming out of the Milford dugout. This has been the game that this team has been waiting for. As Coach DeVito, prior to the start of the season, fully expected that this team would be an offensive force to be reckoned with. The offense really frustrated through their first 3 games of the season, but it has been a different story through the first 3 innings here at home. 11 runs on the scoreboard. And a big-time lead for Post 59 as Coach Dedian for Leominster out to talk to Poirier. He has not taken the baseball yet, but a very tough start for Mark Poirier, allowing 11 runs through the first 2 2/3 innings of this outing, and he will remain out there. Milford scoring 5 runs in the first inning. They have scored 6 runs so far here in the third on 6 hits. And the last 3 hits in particular coming in rapid fire succession, so hard to tell if Poirier's been tipping his pitches a bit in this inning, but Milford has been ready to swing the bats with authority early in the counts. Michael Ryan, who started off this inning with a strikeout, up now for the second time in the frame with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike, batting with Basazzi at first. And now 2 balls and 1 strike the count. Poirier back on the pitching rubber, a long look in to the catcher. Now delivers the 2-1. That's in on the outside edge for strike 2. The 10th Milford batter to come to the plate in the bottom of the third. And the 2-2 pitch down in the dirt. Snagged by Reynoso. No advance for Basazzi at first, and the count runs full. There are 2 outs in the inning, a runner at first base. And Poirier now steps off. It has been quite a lengthy inning, and the Milford bench not satisfied, continuing to cheer on Michael Ryan. They want to see more damage done. 3-2 the count. Here's the pitch, and it's a line drive out to right field, down for a base hit. And Basazzi will hold up at second base as they will go 1 base at a time. So Michael Ryan a single. Jeff Basazzi now at second base. And here's Blake Hill, who has quite a large lead to work with on the pitcher's mound. He fouls the first pitch away for strike one. Nothing in one the count. A hesitation from Poirier, and now a late timeout granted, and the pitch angrily snapped towards the plate, and Coach Didion out of the Leominster dugout, not happy that timeout was granted. It was a long pause on the pitcher's mound by Poirier that caused Hill to take the timeout. The 0-1 pitch hit high in the air, but foul and out of play off to the left. And a lot of positive emotion from the Milford side in this game, but for Leominster, a lot of frustration seeing a large deficit on the scoreboard now, 11-0 the score. The next pitch into Blake Hill is high, and that brings the count to 1-2. Leads at first and second base for Ryan and Basazzi. The pitch into Blake Hill is a called strike three, and that will finally bring an end to this bottom of the fourth inning, but not before 11 batters come to the plate in the inning. And when all is said and done, Milford now in the driver's seat in this game, up 11-0 over Leominster. It's been offensive fireworks for Post 59. And more to come in this game next here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. Well, what a beginning to this game it has been for Post 59 here in their 2015 home opener. And all of these fans who turned out here in Fino Field have had plenty of offense to enjoy. An 11-0 lead now for Milford over Leominster. Scoring 6 times in the bottom half of the fourth inning, and now Blake Hill back out on the mound after a lengthy wait. I'm sure he did not mind one bit. Delivers his first pitch in for ball one to Ryan Lever, the shortstop. Lever hits one foul down the third base line. Lever has one of Leominster's 2 hits in the game. Hill into his windup. Here now is the 1-1 pitch. This is hit softly out to right field. That will get in for a hit. Drew Wild sticking the glove out at second base as that ball went by, but that one well up over his head. And a leadoff single for Lever, who is now 2 for 2. And now Brennan Cudahy, the designated hitter. He lined out to right field to end the top of the first inning. Watches the first pitch sail into the dirt and kick away from the catcher, Michael Ryan, and that will allow Lever to move up to second base. So things not starting particularly well for Hill here in the bottom and the top half of the fourth inning. Allowing the lead runner on, and that runner now in scoring position. Ready now with a 1-0 pitch. That misses down and away. And Michael Ryan now will hand deliver the baseball back out to the pitcher's mound to talk things over, as the command has not been sharp to these first 2 batters for Hill. Blake Hill making his first ever starting pitcher performance for Post 59 as a second-year player. And this pitch into Cudahy has popped up out of play. Michael Ryan could not see where that ball went, but it drifted out of play for strike 1 in the at-bat. 2 balls and 1 strike the count. And this pitch too far inside, narrowly missing the left leg of Cudahy. 3 balls and a strike is the count. The next pitch, this is hit hard down the right field line, but well foul. Brennan Cudahy had nothing on his mind but driving that pitch out to right. He did so, but could not keep it fair. Runs the count full. Here is the 3-2 pitch. This is hit on the ground to first base. Basazi makes the play and brings it to first base himself for the out. The ground ball to the right side does allow Ryan Lever to move to third base with only 1 out. And it will be interesting to see what kind of defense Jeff Basazi brings to first base. This is the first time we've seen him at that position. Playing exclusively at catcher for the Milford High School team. We have only seen him, again, as catcher or DH in his post-59 career. But handling that ground ball cleanly in his first defensive chance. The first pitch into David Barry, meanwhile, is fouled away for strike 1. 1 out in the inning, a runner at third base for Leominster as they trail 11-0 to Milford. And another strike brings the count to 0-2. David Barry, a ground out to shortstop in his last at bat. Leans far over as he looks in for the sign. Now here's the pitch, and it's waved at and missed for strike 3. That's the first strikeout for Hill since the first batter he faced in the game. But comes at a good time, holds that runner at third base now with 2 outs and an opportunity to get out of the inning without a run on the scoreboard. But first he must deal with Tanner Jackalow, the first baseman. A lefty against lefty battle about to ensue as the first pitch misses high for ball 1. Hill has the pitch he wants, sends it to the plate, but misses up and in, and falls behind 2 balls and no strikes. Hill goes to work on the pitcher's rubber before settling back atop the mound. Here's his 2-0 pitch. That one misses well outside. 3 balls and no strikes to Jackalow with the catcher Diosmar Reynoso waiting on deck. The 3-0, and Jackalow taking all the way. He takes strike 1. Jackalow trying to stay patient at the plate, knowing his team needs a host of base runners if they hope to get back into this game. Here's the 3-1 offering, and this is sprayed foul off to the left out of play. From 3-0 to 3-2 with 2 outs in the inning. Blake Hill looking to put an end to the frame right here. He takes a deep breath as he looks in for the sign. Now comes to the set position. Here is the 3-2 pitch, and it's hit on the ground to second base. Waiting for it is Drew Wild. He fires to first for the out that ends the inning. Leominster able to get a runner to third base, but they cannot score, and we head to the bottom of the 4th inning now, with Milford enjoying an 11-0 lead over Leominster here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball here on First Class Radio. 11 runs on 11 hits with no errors for Milford post 59. No runs on 3 hits with 1 error for Leominster post 151. It has been all Milford so far here as they make their 2015 home opener. And it has been a terrific day for the hometown fans here to enjoy. A festive atmosphere all around Pheno Field. And we had a chance to see the 2014 team honored here pregame. And perhaps some of that positive energy from the 2014 state champions trickling down into the current edition of the team, as their offense has broken out in a big way, scoring more runs so far in this game today than they had scored in their previous 3 games combined.
Now batting for Milford, number 23, Kyle Nocera.
And it will be Kyle Nocera who will lead off the bottom of the 4th inning. Nocera, an RBI single back in the 1st inning. He also scored a run. He flew out to right field last inning. And a new pitcher on, meanwhile, for Leominster Post 151. After a struggle all day long for Poirier, he is lifted here for relief pitcher Darius Flowers, the right-hander taking over here in the bottom of the 4th. He quickly jumps ahead of Nocera, 0-2, and now this pitch misses outside. Kyle Nocera sporting a bright green bat as he takes his at-bat here in the 4th. And the count now goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes as Nocera battles back. Flowers back into his windup. Here's the pitch, too far inside, and the count goes full. Drew Wild, the next expected batter. He does have a bat in the on-deck circle, as Nocera protects the plate, just gets a piece of that one to send it foul. It will be interesting to see if Coach DeVito opts to utilize any of his bench players with the big lead. Right now all the starters remain in there, as Nocera takes a look at a 3-2 pitch that misses and skips away from the catcher. Nocera, a leadoff walk. So Flowers fresh into the game, gives up a leadoff walk. And a conference taking place between Darius Flowers and Diosmar Reynoso, the catcher, before Wild has a chance to begin this at-bat. The home plate umpire going over for a quick chat in the Milford dugout. But everyone back at their positions now as Drew Wild digs in on the left side with the leadoff batter at first. And the first pitch sails up and away for ball 1. So 2 times on base now for Nocera. Drew Wild, meanwhile, 2 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored at the plate. And he takes a pitch well outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Not good command out of Darius Flowers as he takes over on the pitcher's mound. Here is his 2-0, outside again. No, it grabs the outside corner. A very borderline pitch, but it goes the pitcher's way. Now here's the 2-1, and it's swung on and missed by Wild, but the ball gets through the legs, rolls behind the catcher Reynoso, and Nocera moves up to second base. This Milford team showing no signs of letting up despite the big lead. They're going to play hard right until the final out of this game is recorded. As Drew Wild hits one hard on the ground to his counterpart at second base, Curran fires to first for the out. Nocera moves on to third base with 1 down.
Now batting number 14, Griffin Lynch.
And the next batter is the number 9 hitter, the number 9 spot in the lineup, which had been occupied by Griffin Lynch, but we will see a pinch hitter as Cole McNana comes up to the plate. And McNana takes the first pitch for ball one.
Your attention, please. Now batting Milford, number 5, Cole McNana.
McNana had a chance to start the game on Friday against Grafton Hill, playing right field. Ended up only taking one at bat in the game. Called out on strikes. So Coach DeVito is indeed going to start to dip into the bench, as McNana fouls that pitch off himself. 2 balls and 1 strike is the count. Mike Caffarella has now grabbed a bat and moved into the on-deck circle, so Milford preparing for wholesale changes. The 2-1 pitch into McNana. It skips away, and coming around to score from third base is Kyle Nocera. So Nocera scores on the wild pitch, and Milford now with 12 runs on the scoreboard. They take a 12-0 lead. It is a 3-1 count now to McNana. Here's the pitch, and it misses for ball 4, the second walk in the inning. And the work on the pitcher's mound has not gotten any smoother for Leominster, with Flowers in the game.
Your attention, please. Now pinch hitting for Milford, number 7, Mike Caffarella. Pinch hitting for Cena.
And indeed now here is Caffarella batting in the leadoff spot in the lineup, so Matt DeCina's day is done. And Caffarella takes the first pitch for strike 1. So the 2 Milford High School graduates getting a chance to make back-to-back pinch hitting appearances here in the bottom of the 4th inning. McNana and Caffarella each graduating from Milford High School back in 2014. Caffarella now a student at Bryant University, with Cole McNana studying at Curry College. As Caffarella fouls the pitch away, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Still only 1 out in this bottom of the 4th inning. A long pause from Flowers. Now the pitch to the plate. That misses. And the count evens at 2-2. Mike Caffarella wearing the number 7 on his back this season. That number, of course, formerly belonging to Dan Mantoni. It's been quite a number of years since the number 7 has been available for a new player to wear. Two balls and 2 strikes with 1 out in the inning. Caffarella at the plate, McNana at first base. Another run home in the inning so far for Milford, as Caffarella takes that pitch for a called strike 3. The first strikeout since entering the game for Darius Flowers. He has 2 outs now in the inning, and Aiden Wild will remain in the game to take the at-bat here with 2 outs. He takes the first pitch for strike 1. Aiden Wild, a 2-for-3 day so far. After a strikeout in the first inning, he has singled in both the second and third innings, also scored a run in the third. And a 1 ball, 1 strike count on the freshman, Aiden Wild. With McNana taking a lead off of first base. Here is the pitch, and it's in at the knees. 1-2. Aiden Wild, after taking a couple of practice swings, readies for the next pitch, which misses outside, and it evens the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the inning. Milford scoring a run here in the frame to make it an even 12-0 lead. Here is the pitch. And that is a foul ball. It appeared to be a swing and a miss from Aiden Wild, but the home plate umpire saying that contact was made with the bat. The ball went down in the dirt. The Leominster coaching staff voicing their disagreement, so now the two umpires will converge. And the infield umpire saying, indeed it was strike 3, and so the call overturned. So a strikeout of Aiden Wild, back-to-back Ks for Flowers to end the bottom of the 4th inning, but one more run on the scoreboard. Milford will take a 12-0 lead into the 5th inning, which will come your way next here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on First Class Radio. Mike Caffarella now into the game at third base. Looks like McMillan shifting over to shortstop. And we'll bring you as many of the remaining defensive replacements as we can. As now leading off the inning in the batter's box is a pinch hitter for post 151, David Newhouse. Excuse me, David Newhouse will bat for the catcher, Reynoso. And it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Barring an offensive output from Leominster here in this 5th inning, we could be looking at mercy rules coming into apply here in this 5th inning with Milford up by a dozen runs. Here's the 2-1 offering. It's outside. Diosmar Reynoso had been 0 for 1 out of this number 7 spot in the lineup. Here is the windup and the pitch from Hill. It's fouled hard to the backstop. And the count is now 3 balls and 2 strikes. So again, we can tell you the infield alignment right now for post 59 is Monahan behind the plate with Caffarella at third, McMillan at short, Jeff Basazzi at first. Looks like Drew Wild may have remained in the game at second base. Have not been able to quite catch a number at second base. And then 3-2 pitch in from Blake Hill is high for ball 4, so Newhouse able to work the leadoff walk. And Andrew Curran, the number 8 hitter, will remain in the game to bat for himself. He singled in his last at bat, 1 for 1 on the day. And the first pitch in for a called strike 1 from Hill into Curran. Meanwhile, Leominster already looks like they are starting to pack things up in the dugout. They do trail in this game 12-0, facing a sizable deficit as Curran now fouls a pitch into his own dugout to drop down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Further action is loosening in Leominster's bullpen if needed. No outs recorded yet in this top of the 5th inning. The leadoff man on for post 151. Here's the pitch into Curran. And that misses just a bit up and outside, and the count goes to 1-2. The crowd calm here at Fino Field, enjoying this big lead for Milford as Curran now lofts a pitch out to center field. The catch is made out there for the first out of the inning.
Now batting number 3, Cooper Bigelow.
1 out now as the number 9 spot comes up again in the Leominster lineup. It is Cooper Bigelow, the third baseman. That is Kyle Nocera remaining in the game out in center field, who made that catch for the first out. So the outfield alignment looks to have remained the same for Milford, with Aiden Wild in left, Kyle Nocera in center, and Cole McNana, who did come into the game to bat for Griffin Lynch, remaining in the game in right field. Always gets a little confusing with the late game defensive substitutions when you get to this kind of lopsided score. So again, Monahan behind the plate, Caffarella at third, McMillan at short, Drew Wild at second, and Jeff Basazzi at first, with Aiden Wild, Kyle Nocera, and Cole McNana, the outfield alignment from left to right. No balls and 2 strikes, meanwhile, on Cooper Bigelow. Bigelow lined out to center field in his last at bat. As Blake Hill comes set, takes a quick look at the runner at first base, and his pitch in comes up over the head of Bigelow. And diverted the eyes over towards the runner at first base as he went into his windup, and then the pitch ended up sailing up over the head of the batter. And now the 1-2 pitch is fouled off, rolling over towards the third base dugout. Milford starting out this season 0-3, hoping that the 12 runs they have scored here today will bring about their first victory of the year. Hill ready with another 1-2 pitch. Here it comes to the plate, and it's popped up. Giving chase is Monahan, the catcher, over towards the Milford dugout. Did he stay on the field of play? No, he did not. A nice play turned in by the Milford catcher, but just a step beyond the field of play. They mark off a rectangle around the outside of the dugout to mark the edge of the field of play, and Monahan just stepping over that line to make the catch. So a dead ball. It remains a 1-ball, 2-strike count. But high marks for the effort out of Tyler Monahan. As this pitch is now hit hard on the ground to second base. Wild flips to second base for the out there. No return throw to first. McMillan electing to keep that ball in the glove rather than try for the inning-ending double play. It would have been a bang-bang play with the speed of Bigelow. So Newhouse erased at second base. There are now 2 outs in the inning with Bigelow reaching on the fielder's choice. And another pinch hitter coming up for Leominster as Greg Cavioli will come to the plate.
Your attention please now, batting for Leominster, Greg Cavioli.
Cavioli, a lefty batter against the lefty throwing Blake Hill. Here's the pitch, and that's in for a strike. Two outs deep into this top half of the 5th inning. Blake Hill winds and delivers a pitch that stays up high. And settling right back into the batter's box is the pinch hitter Cavioli. It's the second pinch hitter utilized for Leominster in the inning. And the next pitch from Blake Hill is in for a called strike 3, and the inning is over. So Cavioli, a quick at bat, down on strikes. The strikeout ends the inning for Hill, and mercy rules will indeed come into play as the top of the 5th inning comes to an end. Both teams pop out of their respective dugouts. They will move into the handshake line right at home plate, and what a day for Milford post 59. They make the 3-game losing streak to start the season a distant memory, putting up a dozen runs on the scoreboard, and they will win this game in mercy rule fashion over Leominster post 151 by a final score of 12-0. The victory goes to Blake Hill, who ended up pitching the shutout, needing only 5 innings to do so. And Mark Poirier takes the loss, a very tough performance for the Leominster starter. But a great day for Milford post 59.